can you take that energy that's directed toward you and shift it around in such a way as not to offend someone, and at the same time, that's
I find that men are, actually, it's just if you don't disrespect them and you show that you see that what they've just done is honor you, but that you let them know that that's not where you're coming from, and that you're so happy that they find you beautiful, but you're happily married, and that's not what it's about for you. And most men are very fine with that. They're actually quite gracious once you explain it to them that way. I think if you're rude and you made someone feel bad, that's when it would not be wonderful.
Wow, that's great. And what are your other top shows?
Well, okay, so next in line would be I felt very blessed because I've had some wonderful guests on the show. Wonderful guests. Rita O'Connor, the ballroom dance teacher, and I don't want to exclude anybody, so I'm not going to mention a lot of names here, because I've had just every guest who's been on this show I feel such gratitude for, because they're all wonderful.
Right.
And my first national guest was, we were at the Maui Film Festival last June, and the film that turned out winning the best film was Peaceful Warrior. And we're sitting in the seats, and Barry gets up and he makes an announcement. And he says that David Welsh, first of all, David got up and he spoke about how this movie Peaceful Warrior was really a lot more than a movie to him. It was a message. Very powerful. So I felt very connected with David. And then Barry got up and he said if anyone is interested in talking briefly, just David's going to be in the back for about 10 minutes between films, if you want to talk to him. So Adele does one of these and she says, "Get up there." So it was like, really? And it's like, yeah, get up there and, see if you can get in to have a chat with him. So I walked up to the top, and it was like, there's David, and there's literally not a semicircle, but a circle of people surrounding him. And I walked up, and it was like a parting of the Red Sea. I mean, it was just one of these things. It was like a parting of the Red Sea. The people went like this. I walked up to him. We shook hands, made a connection. I said my name, Steve Freid. I've got a show, Life on Maui, a TV show. Are you interested in being on the show tomorrow? And he said, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm into it. Now, I had a guest already lined up. I'm thinking, okay, I think they'd be willing to let it go for a future date. So anyway, kind of hustling. And there's an interesting story, too, that I want to tell a little more about this. But let's show a little clip from that show as well. There's a whole story about Nick Nolte and how he got picked for that. So let's watch a clip from that, and then I'll come back and tell you a little story.
Awesome, that'd be great.
And who did Nick Nolte play?
He played Socrates, who's one of the main characters in the movie. We were just blessed to have Nick Nolte play this part because you have all sorts of ideas. I've been working on this for 23 years, and so I've had all sorts of fantasies on who might play this part. But when you get down to actually shooting the movie, it comes down to who's available on February 14th when you're going to start shooting the film. So then you start looking at all those possible actors, and one of them who was not available was Nick Nolte because he was going to shoot another film. So we went through a number of possibilities: Anthony Hopkins, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and different complications and different possibilities came, and we were just about ready to make a decision, and Nick Nolte's film fell through, and his agent called us up and said, "Hey, Nick Nolte's available." We said, "Well, let's interview Nick Nolte too." So we actually, the script was sent out to Nick, loved it, just, loved the script.
He had read the book?
He had read the book, and some 20 odd years before, and just loved the project. So we went and rented a whole lot of Nick Nolte pictures and looked at them all, and To tell you the truth, we weren't totally sure about Nick because he'd never played a part like this. And I remember the director going out to interview him, and the director's going, gee, I don't know, you know, I just don't know if Nick's the right guy. So he went out and interviewed Nick, and it was supposed to be an hour interview, and he spent 5 hours out there with him, and he came back and he says, oh my God, we have got to have Nick Nolte play this part. He is the perfect Socrates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are incredible stories.
Yeah.
So David, here, you know, this is my first national figure on the show.
Right.
National figure,
Right.
national release movie. So I'm a little more nervous than usual, and so we came in, and you know, he's a very take charge kind of a guy and everything. We sat down, did the whole interview, great interview. We're both really happy with it. Went back into the control room. There was no sound.
What'd you do?
There was no sound. So it's like, oh no, oh my God. It's like combination of embarrassment and everything else. So I said, David, you know, would you be willing to shoot it again? And being the real, you know, just nuts and bolts guy that he is, he said, sure, you know, let's go back in again.
Yeah.
So we came back in again, shot the whole show again, and running them back to back's not easy because sometimes you can't remember what questions you asked and what you didn't ask.
Right.
So again, finished the second show, went back into the control room. There was a problem with the video. And now we're out of studio time. So at the last minute, it was like, David, would you be willing to come back in first thing tomorrow and shoot the show again? And again, being the consummate professional he was, we came back in the next day, shot it. It was the best of all 3 shows. And so what you just saw was a 3rd take of that show.
Yay.
Yay. So that's the story about that one.
3rd time's charm, right?
Third
On
time,
this one, anyway.
Third was a charm with that. Well, 3rd's been a charm with me with a lot of things in my life. So
Well,
yeah, so
there you
3rd was
go.
a charm. And then I guess finally we're talking about the top 3 YouTube hits. This is particularly the
Right.
ones that have gotten the most hits on YouTube. Is Harold Bloomfield. He goes by Hari here on the island, but Harold Bloomfield, he's a best-selling, New York Times best-selling author multiple times. He's a world-renowned psychiatrist. He's a buddy of mine, and I was honored to have him on the show. And he gave us a scoop that he didn't give to anyone else, so I'm going to play a little bit of a clip of a part of his life that he never revealed publicly before. So let's watch it.
Yeah, we all love Hari too.
Yeah,
on the
he's
island,
such
you know,
he's
we love Hari.
Love Hari, dear-hearted guy.
Let's watch it.
So here's a
Great.
That's right. You get the scoop ahead of Oprah, Larry King, Good Morning America,
I'm
Barbara
blessed.
Walters.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Here we go. I went in for what was supposed to be minor surgery at the beginning of 1999, and I came out of that with a severe chronic pain syndrome. It was recommended to me to go see a chronic pain specialist, and he prescribed for me pain medication. And it gave me some relief for the first time, allowed me to function. But looking back, I progressively became addicted to these pain pills. And it started to really cause distorted thinking and poor judgment. And I started throwing rave parties. The 3rd time, 10 police officers came pouring into my home, carted me off to jail, and that was really good because I remember my emotion when they came through the door, and it was relief. It was relief because I knew I was so out of control. And so I wound up in jail for a week because my former wife wouldn't bail me out. And it was the best seminar I ever took, and I've done them all.